Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Own Your Image, Effortless Style, Branding, and Extraordinary Confidence. I'm Deshante.
I'm Kanae.
And we have here with us today, Christianna Hurt. She is the owner and creator of Wealthycollegekid. She has, which is a 7-figure educational platform. She also co-owns a skincare line and is the face of Boss Palace, which recently did $1 million in April. Christianna is a girl boss, and we are super excited to have her here with us today.
Hi. Thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, you are making power moves. We're so excited to have you on.
How's it
Thank
been?
you for having me on. Of course.
How's it been going for you during the quarantine?
Honestly, I've been getting a lot done, and it's really allowed me to see like my friendships as well as understand what makes me happy, as well as understand my surroundings. So I've really enjoyed quarantine and enjoyed, having this downtime, as well as being able to be in a position to help my family and friends. Awesome. That's good. A good time. I think for everybody, it's been like an opportunity to sit down, reflect, look at the people around you, and just start to move at a different pace. So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your brand. I know the audience wants to know a little bit more about you, everything that you're doing. So Wealthycollegekid is an e-commerce educational platform. It allows people to learn how to sell online, how to put themselves in a better position, whether they don't have inventory, whether they do have inventory, or they want to sell their own product or somebody else's product, or just drop ship from overseas. It just allows you and it puts you in a position to enroll to earn as well as learn before you take away the L, rather than spending thousands of dollars on a course or a system or whatever the case may be in online education that doesn't result in you making your investment back or being able to put yourself in a new financial position.
Mm-hmm. Love that. How did that come about?
So I actually had moved out with a boy at the age of 21, and unfortunately within about 48 hours of signing my lease, I realized that one, he was not going to pay the rent. And the lease was in my name, and the rent was $3,000 with 1 month free. So I had 30 days to figure out where I was going to find $3,000. Now, of course, I could have went back home, but pride was just getting the best of me. I felt like I could figure it out, and I ended up making the rent money in a single day, June 2nd. So I was able to pay that rent June 3rd. And then from there, I just kept trying to find, where I wanted to stay, in this internet game. There's so many different ways to make money, but you really have to find one that fits with you perfectly so that you're able to really excel. And that for me became e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
And so with you're saying, like you said, there's so many different internet ways to make money and finding the best one that fit with you. How did you, A, know that it was a good fit for you? And B, what part of your, morals and moral codes did you take into building your business? So how I knew that e-commerce was the right fit for me is obviously I started making a lot more money, first off and foremost. Second off, it was something that I enjoyed doing, I enjoyed learning about, and it was something that I really felt like I could connect myself to, that I felt like was, okay, like I like doing this. I like learning, I like building brands, I like creating products and things like that. So that is how I personally knew that it was the business model I was going to continue to stick on. And I always feel like you can do 10 things good or one thing great. So I've consistently stood by and built my brand on the fact that you can do one thing great, stay consistent, outlast everybody, stick with something that you're good at, and don't stray away from that. I'm a strong believer in a lot of people have shiny object syndrome, and I'm just somebody who really just stays on the same track of I sell stuff online, whether it's other people's stuff, my stuff, or somebody else's leftover stuff. That's all I do is buy and sell online, because there's two things that are never going to change. It's who buys and who sells. It's just, you're going to be on one side of the fence or the other. It's going to continue going.
I love that. I love that you say, what's to say it again? The 10 do things one thing right.
10 things good or one thing great.
I love that. That's so good, because we can get so caught up in doing so many things and jumping to so many different opportunities that we see online. Who has been your target, I guess, has College Kids been your target? Is that who you work with mostly? And how have you
No,
got them on board?
no, actually my target audience has really just been anybody looking for an extra $500, an extra $1,000 a week. And I stand by the fact that Wealthy College Kid is a platform that you enroll in, such as going back to school to become a nurse or going back to school to become, esthetician. It's something that you come back to after whatever you've been doing is not working. So let's say, you're 30 and you went to school, you graduated, but wherever profession you're in is just not making the cut. So this puts you in a position to come back, enroll, earn, and find a different revenue stream that may be better, that fits your lifestyle a little bit better, or it helps you achieve the goals that you want to achieve for your family.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And so I want to kind of go back to the beginning of Wealthy College Kids. And you mentioned you moved in with a guy.
Yes.
You realized he wasn't going to pay rent and you needed to hustle your way. Prior to that move-in, where were you? What were you doing? Were you thinking that you were going to have a business, or was that sort of like the catalyst of like, I got to get myself together?
That was definitely the catalyst. Before, I was living at my dad's house, perfectly fine. I was working at Twin Peaks as a bartender and server, making, what I felt like was good money, drove a nice Volkswagen, things like that. And then, moved out and life came at me fast, I went from waking up to food always being in the fridge to now like, hey, you're going to buy food. And it was just barking. So I had to immediately figure out, what can I do to solve this problem without calling for help? Because I felt like I put myself into this situation. I can put myself out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. And I think, for the audience that's listening, all of us have been in bad situations before, every single one of us. So it's really important not to sink into like, woe is me, I have this problem, what am I going to do? Or like you said, run looking for help, but to sit down, look at the problem and come up with a solution. And I think your journey shows that you came up with a great solution. So that's awesome.
Taking ownership is what I really hear. Like you took ownership of your life and of yourself, and you evaluated what was going on within you. Where would you say that came from in as far as like your values? Was your
my upbringing, I personally just was a very headstrong child, as well as just very independent. And I have always been somebody who felt like, if I work hard, I can get what makes me happy and what I want. I don't have to ask anybody, as well as, I don't have to settle. Consistency has always been a big part of me. And I've always felt like if I just work harder than others, work smarter than others, I will be where others can't be, because I did what they wouldn't do. So I've always stood by that. It's crazy because I got worst case of senioritis in high school, and I wasn't even there to get the award. I think I skipped. But I had like 183 absences, but I only had 2 unexcused absences because I was smart enough to, one, put my own phone number on emergency contact, check myself out of school, go get a flu shot so that I had a doctor's note. I swear I've had every single vaccine, and that's why when people are like, vaccines, I'm like, oh, you'll be fine, because I was getting them like nothing to get a doctor's note to excuse my absence. So I've always just been an out-of-the-box type of person and child growing up, and that has just carried on to my adulthood to the point where I've been able to be very, very successful. And it's crazy. I failed algebra 4 times.
Wow. And I think, algebra.
I
failed in college too. Algebra.
Yeah.
I failed it to the point where they charged me $1,500 to take the class. So.
Yeah.
But I eventually passed.
Let's take it out of the curriculum, because it's like, have you used algebra?
I haven't used algebra.
So I'm not sure why.
That was the hardest part of my college degree, but I'm actually enrolled again at UCF this semester. So I don't give up. I keep trying. I may fail. I may get sidetracked, but I continue to push myself because I can never stop learning, and I can't ever take myself out of a student position, because I feel like we're all students in a way, and we need to remember that.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good. And you've come into entrepreneurship pretty young. Did you have any, what is the word I'm looking for? Any resistance to working in the business and from other people who are looking at you like, what do you know? You're too young.
Right.
Yeah, my first viral moments and my first, exposure to large audiences, of course there were other people that felt like either, my attitude or the way that I spoke on live, or maybe like my language or anything like that, or the way I dressed was a problem, but it never took away from my results, my direct deposit, and the lives that I've changed. And eventually, people adapted to that, and they're just like, that's just the way she talks. That's just the way that she is. I'm very well spoken, of course, but, I carry myself in a way that some people would argue with. For instance, like if I'm consistently in a sports bra, because I feel like I worked extremely hard. Number one, growing up, I was very upset that I did not have a chest when everybody else hit puberty. I didn't get it. So I consistently, I think it's in my yearbook under my quote that I was like, I may be like one cup now, but one day I'll be a D cup or something like that. And when I started making money, I went and got boobs. It's something I've said on my Jubilee interviews. I've said it in tons of interviews because that is what I wanted to do. Even at 13, 14, I consistently said, like, I'm just going to get boobs when I grow up. I don't care about this right now. Because I always had that, and I always thought about the end goal. Like, I may not like this right now. I may not like this or that, but I was like, I know I'm going to have what I want by this time. And I grew up, I got it. Even when it came down to the pets, growing up, you can't have 100 cats and dogs and your family's just like, no pets at all. I wanted a hairless cat from 14. My parents weren't going for no $4,000 cat. I grew up 22, got the cat. It grew hair. It was really weird. I wish somebody had told me that, but I went and got what I wanted growing up. All the things that we talk about, the cars, the whatever. I just went out. I grew up and I went and got them.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? Not so much that you got them. That's huge, but no, you went back to the dreams, right? Because all of us have dreams at some point, and then life starts like beating us up, and then the dream becomes further and further from the reality. But I think it's really important to like go back to those dreams and realize that you can make it your reality. It's just what you're gonna have to go through to get there. So I think that is a testimony to anybody who's watching. If you have a dream, go after it.
Yes.
Seriously, and remember your roots. Remember what you wanted. So, and it's easy to forget and change, but I stand by being 100% authentically me, following my dreams and knowing, the same things I wanted yesterday, they can still happen today.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's good.
So I want to talk a little bit about your venture with Boss Palace. You guys did $1 million in April. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow. And during
we did $1 million this month too.
Wow.
Consistent now.
That is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that brand?
Yes.
So Boss Palace, it's a team effort first and foremost. It's crazy because my partner, after the loss of my son in 2018, I just wasn't myself in a sense. Postpartum was something that really kicked my ass. So he was really a huge backbone of like, okay, well, what can we do type of situation. And I was a person back then that I could speak about what needed to be done, but you couldn't get me to get up and do it for I feel like a couple months. So it was really, really awesome that he kind of like was there to pick up that slack, and we built a brand back then that did over $500,000. So now, Boss Palace is everything that brand needed to be, but we have a legitimate team, we have influencers, we have advertising, we have everybody that needs to be a part of it, being a part of it and pulling their own weight, to now it's done well over 7 figures twice now. And we launched another brand yesterday, that is going to be on track to do those same type of numbers, because we have a system now. It's never changed. We've been chasing this $1 million a month for like 2-3 years, realistically. So it's not like, we just woke up. It's always been, certain people in a certain circle where we all had the same goals, but we all needed to figure out, who's going to do what to be able to get there. So it's been a huge blessing that brand, number one, is super duper profitable. It's not a tangible product, obviously, it's digital. So it's allowing those profit margins to be what people need to see when they see that million. They need to see a real brand that's actually really, really profitable doing those types of numbers.
Right.
So the biggest thing with that is just being a really, really good team, a really, really good system of how we do everything. And we've been able to duplicate that now into other brands. So other brands are obviously going to be doing those types of numbers. We're really on track for 7 figures profit, like a few times this year. So it's been huge. Boss Palace was just, the example to set and put it everywhere. And you're going to be seeing 2 other brands everywhere in the same exact way.
Okay. So you set your standard. Now you're replicating that, and also in the meantime giving people opportunities, which is amazing. I do want to first off, sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
And thank you for being so transparent with sharing that. And I think that's very important, being transparent, especially going through these types of journeys. Talk to us a little bit about coming out of that, because it's like you were at a point where you were doing great and then something tragic happened. And obviously you're here to talk about it and share that testimony, but give us a little bit of like how you had to pull yourself back to where you're at now.
So actually after it happened April 13th, 2018, I did really, really great numbers obviously afterward, but eventually, postpartum does kind of consume you because you have to sit down and face it. It was more so looking back, I feel like postpartum was chasing me and I wasn't allowing it to really get it. And then when it really got me, it got me. So what I did personally, in 2019, I feel like what I tell people 2019, I lost myself. I really felt like I lost myself. I went to Bali for an entire month trying to kick it. I spoke at 27 events. Like I really tried to keep myself busy to get out of that. And then, coming off of that August 2019, it was tough. I faced my Facebook getting disabled because so many people were making fake accounts of me. I faced not being able to get advertisements up. And then on top of just not having the feeling to want to do things, which was really, really tough. And it was even worse because I was voicing it to people where I just kept saying like, I feel like something's wrong with me. I don't feel like myself. I don't know. Like I kept trying to get somebody to see what I couldn't see because I knew something was off. To then eventually, like I took it upon myself. I went to a doctor. I ended up getting on medication and, it's crazy. When I got that script, I was like, I'm going to get off this. I'm going to get off this as fast as I can. So I got on it December 8th. I was off of it February 6th. And I was back. And when I say I was back, it was like, bam, 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 bam. Like brands started making a lot more money. Wealthycollegekid it was like crazy. Cause like you could see, like I set up a new processor. So it's like December 2019, it did like $1,800. And then January did like 16, and then February did like 48. Then March it was doing like 90. So like you could see that consistent comeback right after I just had to get my body back to feeling that normal feeling, because that's what I was fighting for, is that feeling basically of just feeling normal again. And I had an emergency C-section, so I am consistently reminded of that. I'm consistently waking up and fully having to be aware that I have a C-section, but I do not have a child. And it's a question that comes up. I'm not going to lie. Like it comes up in lives. It comes up on social media. It comes up at the beach. Like, you have a C-section. Do you have any kids? No. Oh, that's weird. Not many people lie about kids. It's like, I'm not lying. I had this. And then you're explaining a whole situation. And then people take a step back. Like, I'm so sorry. And it's like, you can't do anything but be lighthearted about that at this point and be grateful for not only the fact that I can still have children, and 2, that I'm alive. Yeah. My uterus is ruptured. A lot of people don't look at it like, well, that's really sad. My uterus could have ruptured. It was a very, very kind of like touchy situation where we didn't know if I was going to pull through. Wow. So to be here today and to continue to, have healthy relationships and be back to myself is a huge blessing in itself. And I feel like I consistently have to tell people not only, you could push through that, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's good.
That's good.
Because we all go through things, right?
Right.
I think that's part of life. And it's not what you're going through, but it's how you get up and keep going and not just staying there, and because that can change the trajectory of your life.
Right.
Had you not been self-aware, like, hey, something's off, like that 2 months was pivotal for you to just get it back together and get going. So kudos to you for sure.
Yes, and thank you for sharing that testimony.
Yeah.
That's really a beautiful testimony, and now you're walking in your power and taking everything you went through and turning it into purpose.
Yeah.
So we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about fashion. You are a fashionable girl. So do you connect with the message when you look better, you feel better?
Yes.
Could you
I
go?
feel like, yeah, I can. I didn't know if you were going to spin off of that. Yes. I just feel like, especially being on camera, when you have your hair done, you have your nails done, and you are dressed the way that makes you feel, confident and sexy, of course it makes you feel better. I feel like, anytime you get your hair done, you feel like a new woman. And I feel like it's so important, especially with so many eyes being on me, to carry myself at a certain degree, to be able to consistently, okay, this is where it's at. So a big part of that is definitely getting up in the morning, taking care of myself, taking care of my hair, my nails, and everything like that. And, putting little, like, cute little outfits together. It's crazy. People will be like, where are you going? And I'm like, oh, live.
Yeah.
That's our new normal, though.
It is our new normal.
Putting outfits together for lives.
And I think, I think this has been a theme that's been repeated in some of our other interviews, that right now, especially in the time that we're in, it is so important to get up and show up, because like you said, you connect with the message when you look good, you feel good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so now especially, we can fall into that of like, well, I'm not really going anywhere. So do I really need to, get dressed or put my lashes on or whatever the case may be? But it's like, well, yeah, because you're going to feel better, even if it's just going to the living room and turning on the TV, or like you said, live. So that is important.
Yes. And so putting your looks together, what would you say are some of your favorite fashion pieces in your closet?
Anything is tight. I'm not gonna lie. I like to wear tight clothing because I don't have a lot to work with. I'm really tiny. I'm like 5 foot. So I try to wear tight clothes. But a really tight pair of blue jeans and a t-shirt is my go-to, especially like a band t-shirt, or a pair of baggy sweats and a top that's like this big.
So, hey, I love that, because it's you, right?
Yeah.
It's you, and you're confident and you're walking in that. And just to go a little bit deeper into that, we said when you look good, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And how has your personal style, along with feeling confident in your personal style, really shaped and help you be the businesswoman that you are?
Well, my sister sews, so
Okay.
that helps a lot. My sister actually sews and actually makes swimsuits. She has a swimsuit line called Golden Soleil. And it's crazy because when I went to Bali, she was just starting. So I was out in Bali with no double lining, boob just like out sometimes, like it was whatever, like, And now my sister's swimsuits, people are like, wow, those are really nice. I'm like, yeah, my sister makes them. Or even like, damn, I ain't got nothing to wear tonight. My sister can cut up a t-shirt and make it into a full-fledged dress, like a dope dress too. Like I have a picture on my Instagram that got like 3,000 likes and like 200 comments about the dress I was wearing. My sister made it from a shirt.
Wow.
So it's a huge, huge blessing to be able to like go out and people be like, damn, like you look good. Like my New Year's Eve 2-piece set, my sister made. My sister made my Halloween cut. My sister makes any of my, like, you know what I mean? Like last minute, like, well, I don't have anything where, say less. Give her a couple hours, you're good. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's a huge confidence booster when my sister makes my clothes a lot of times, or, cuts up my shirts and makes it. Or for instance, I had a girl send me a sleepwear onesie that was like 10X. My sister had that down to extra small within like an hour and a half, and it looked good. So
I know.
she's so talented, and it's so great to see her find what she likes to do. Because of course, you know, on my way up, it's easy to try to do what I'm doing or be like, well, she's doing it, I'm going to do it, and not like it, you know, like when I first started really making money, of course, my sister tried and it just wasn't for her. To now, you know, she found her way with design and clothing and swimsuits. And of course, that's still in e-commerce. So it just had to find her place. It's so, so important to understand that. You may not want to sell courses or clothes or anything like that. You just have to find what is your niche and what makes you happy and what you're passionate about.
Love that. I love that. I was going to say, it's so amazing that you've been able to support your sister's business. And as you're growing, you're able to display her business. And now she's able to find her purpose and her place. I really, really love that. Because sometimes when we're growing as a brand, we feel like we're leaving our family members behind, or we're leaving others behind in the community. And you want to be able to bring your tribe along with you.
Of course. And you just have to find their place. And then from there, it's easy to help them because you know where they excel at.
Right.
And so speaking of the clothing and helping your sister and being confident in all of her beautiful designs, how did you find your confidence? And was it ever a struggle for you to be confident?
No, I've always been a big head red. You remember that movie, Bring It On?
Yes.
Dad definitely was that as a child. I was cheer captain. I was on every cheer team. I had a really bad attitude. And yeah, that's just something I guess I was born with. And it's funny you say that because like confidence, like, was that ever a problem? Yeah, in a sense of like high school, I got in a lot of fights. But other than that, I mean, I've always just been unapologetically myself. Like I've always said what's on my mind. I've always been a go-getter. And I've always just, you know, you're going to hear my opinion. Like, that's just what it is. I was very outspoken as a girl. So, or a young girl. Yeah.
So with being so outspoken and being so confident, how would you say it impacted the people around you?
Yeah. In your relationships.
Relationship wise, it's definitely intimidating. It's definitely made, you know, certain men uncomfortable or feel less than even with themselves if they're not, you know, strong set. Friendships, it's been really, really fun actually, honestly. Maybe because I only connect with people that I, you know, kind of fit with. Of course, I know I've had a couple run-ins, but those couple run-ins, it never got that deep because I'm a person that immediately will remove myself. Like I was really, really confrontational in high school. So I'm at a point where I'm an adult. I'm not like, goodbye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I always say that I'm like, got all this out my system before I hit 18, like all of it. I'm not going to argue with you and I don't care how you feel. I don't like it. So I remove myself, you know, like I protect my peace and my mental sanity, especially being an entrepreneur. I can't be around people or men that drain me emotionally because I won't make money. I won't get up and do this stuff, you know. It's not like, you know, of course I could consistently only do e-commerce and stay behind the scenes, but I put myself on that forefront, put myself on camera 4 or 5 days a week. And to be able to continue doing that, I consistently have to be good, happy, you know, want to get on camera. If I'm around somebody or somebody who's living with me that's making me miserable, it's going to show in the videos.
Right.
So I immediately have to just remove myself because otherwise it's gonna go public. You know what I mean? It's gonna be everywhere. The videos are gonna suck, you know, like, and I just don't want that for myself. So I personally just, if I do have a head-on collision as far as personalities, I automatically just evade and just, you know, you got it, I'm good. Relationships, of course, have failed due to that because there's no talking to me. There's nothing to talk about. But it's also really connected me with men that have the same ideals as me. It's crazy because, you know, certain relationships from my past, even growing up, have resurfaced because we have those same values. You know, I had a best friend, we were best friends from like 14 to 16, 17 before he moved to go chase his dreams to now we're still tight, super, super tight. And it's because we share those same values that we did growing up. We have those same work ethics, so we're able to be friends as adults. You know what I mean? So I just stick around people that have the same go-getter, the same happy, genuine, peaceful aura that I can also kind of like connect with.
And I think one of the things that stood out, what you said stood out the most, is being unapologetically you, right? Because if you can stand and be in that, then it's like you start to weed out the people that don't connect with like where you're going, who you are, what you're grounded in. And that in itself isn't important, because if you can't be unapologetically you and you're kind of like wavering, then you start bringing people along, dragging you, draining you, and then you're off track, you're off purpose, and you look up and you're like, what am I doing? So
protecting your space.
Yeah.
A lot of what I'm hearing is you are really good at protecting your space. Do you, just take it back a little bit, do you think that was developed in your childhood, your confidence in protecting your space and just really owning and walking in who you are?
Definitely as a child, like I definitely was just always myself. I always kind of went in a different direction. You know, growing up, I was really into like rock. I went to Vans Warped Tour. I was in mosh pits, you know, where everybody else was very pop or maybe even rap. I went very rock, you know, which was kind of like, but that's what I liked. So that's what I stood by. And, you know, the people I connected with growing up that stood by that same, just, I like this is what I like. We're still friends today.
Yeah, that's good. I think also just it boils down to knowing, right? And not being and this is for the audience as well, you know, there may be people struggling with finding who they are. And I think you have intuitive on what you like.
Right.
So it's like, stick to that, go with that. The people that are gonna gravitate towards you will gravitate towards you. But again, it's like unapologetically being like, I like rock. Great. Not gonna waver because this person may not like it or that person may not like it, but this is what I like and that's what it is. If you don't like it, oh well, I'm gonna keep being me. And especially now, we have social media, right? And everybody's just like scrolling, trying to find something or trying to build something that's not necessarily them. And it shows when you're not who you say you are. So
of course, I had a girl just rip my whole website. It was like, weird flex.
Like, what is that? What is that? How is that going to help her?
Right. Copying
you off.
How did you, speaking of just the social media space, how do you, because you are on lives and you're on it so much and you have your brands and your businesses, how do you cope with the social media aspect of just having your brand and having your personal life, and how do you cope with that?
My notifications are all turned off.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't see any of that.
That's good.
I don't even read YouTube comments. I don't read a lot of stuff because not for nothing. I just don't care. Like, you know, the only time it really affects me is if I'm on live because I'm seeing it. But other than that, I'm just like,
again, protecting your space.
Yeah.
Right? Because people can be so negative and so just mean.
People can just be mean.
And it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It has to do with what they're going through, what they're fighting, demons they're fighting, things they're trying to get out of, or they're directing that energy towards you. So again, that's a key point for anybody that's listening, is like learning how to protect your space and where you're going. And those notifications, that's a good one. Turn them off.
That's a distraction. That's a real distraction. All notifications.
I only see what I want to see, or if it's on live, if you have the balls to come at me, like, and at that point, I'll make the live about you. So then they just exit stage left.
Right.
I love that. Everybody in the audience, just turn all notifications off right now. We don't even need them in our live.
Literally.
So we've talked about your brand, we've talked about your style, we've talked about where you came from, which, by the way, this is like a side note, I worked at Twin Peaks too. I worked at the one in Vegas, and I was like, oh yeah, I know about Twin Peaks. That
the part they rate you with, I was always last. They always put me on patio. Shit, it used to be really
I know about those days. Anybody that's out there working at Twin Peaks, you will get out of it.
You'll get off the chart. Just know, like, your tone does not matter.
Yes. So we've learned about your background. You've shared your great testimonies. We've learned so much, so many gems. The last question is, what does it mean to truly own your image?
Basically to copyright yourself, make yourself your own asset, in my opinion. So when you own your image, you own your brand and yourself, and it's the same thing. It becomes one, and you take responsibility for it to be one.
Taking responsibility.
I love that. Yeah.
A lot of wisdom for a young girl. I love it. It's so good. I know that you have a special treat for the listeners. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. So I'm actually going to give you guys a special number where I'm going to be giving away my top 10 skincare vendors for free. So if you want to start a skincare line, all you have to do is text the number 205-828-4889. So, yep.
Amazing.
Everyone has a cell phone. Text that number. You're gonna
text, and you will get a free top 10 skincare vendors list to start your own skincare line.
Love that.
So generous. So we want to know how to stay in contact with you.
Yes. So if you guys are looking to connect with me, you guys can actually just go to Google and Google Wealthy College Kid. But for those of you that, you don't know, or you want to stick with me on Instagram or YouTube, all you guys have to do is go to Wealthy College Kid, and you'll find any of my personal pages if you want to connect with me personally. But if you're looking to make an extra $500 this week or even a day, just head on over to Wealthy College Kid and shoot us a DM.
Amazing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed hearing about your journey. Again, with you being so young, I think you're an inspiration and will really capture the audience in a new and bright way. So thank you so much, Christianna.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Of course. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye, love.